Hello everyone, today we'll be drawing an eye. We're going to be drawing this eye. We're going to be using this pencil, which is HB2, and this pencil, which is HB3. We're going to be using this one later. We're going to start with the circle, and we're going to use this pencil so we can erase future mistakes more easily, because this pencil is way more darker. I'm going to start off with the circle. And since the eye is straight, we're going to make a little bit of a curve. That's how it's going to be. And then we're going to add a little corner, because that's like the anatomy of an eye or whatever. And then a little curve over here. This circle is actually the, what's it called? You know, like the center of the eye, the iris? Yeah, the iris. Let me make it a little bit smaller, because the eye is not gonna be that big. There. And then we draw the rest of the eye. It's kind of like straight down. It's not like open. It's kind of like this. And then we stop right over here. That's how our eye looks like. And then we add like this little curve. And then we draw like that. And stop right there. Oh wait, my iris is actually really messed up. So we're gonna look at the reference picture again and see that it's actually looking at us. So if you need to fix anything, just erase with this pencil. Do not use this one for now. This is used for shading. So now we're done with the outline of the eye and drawing the base of the iris. We erase this top over here because this is hidden under the eye. And erase the section line. Okay, now we have the outline. This little skin. We all have it, and we just draw it like that, just a little bit in the corner. It's a little bit dark over here, so I'm gonna erase it. Okay, now it looks like that. Don't make things too dark, because you want to erase easily. Make this a bit bigger in the corner. Okay, now we add the eye bags. Right here, it's like maybe like a centimeter away from the eye. And then we curve. And it's kind of straight over here, but it's also kind of tilting. And then we don't stop until here. See? You're connecting to here. So it's right there. And if you want, you can just make that a little bit more curvy. And that's how it looks. Now, if you want, you can draw the eyebrow after, but that's optional. Secondly, see this little corner over here? We're gonna add a little line. That's how it's gonna look like. Okay. Also, I'm gonna shade the outside. Wait. yeah, with this pencil to add like a light effect, very light. And then we're gonna use darker shades with this. This is very strong. We can compare this, I'll show you. So this is the darkest, and then going all the way to the lightest is like that. And then here is our darkest in this pencil, going all the way to that. See, there is a slight difference, but we're gonna use this pencil just to be safe. And let me shade a little bit under here, just about this much. Yeah, we use that much shading. Actually, a little bit more on top, you know? Alright, perfect. H, B, 2, H, B, 3. Just so you guys know, difference. Okay, now we color this part in too. Also guys, do not forget, big tip, the white part over eye is actually not white. It's a lot more darker than white because there's a lot of shading going on. So we gotta shade that as well. We're gonna use this pencil to shade it first, and then we're gonna use darker to shade last. I mean HB3, you know. Okay, it looks like it's the same color, but that's how it looks right now. Okay, now we add the pupil, the black circle, black small circle in the center of the iris. Also, don't forget, in the photo there was a light reflecting in the eye. That's very necessary if you want the eye to look realistic. It was like a window, so we're gonna add this. It almost looks like a bent rectangle, and then just another bent square. And now we're gonna erase this part because we want it to be our light and highlight. Okay, now we add this, like similar to this shape but a bit longer. And this one was like a little bit tiny, so it looks like that. And then tiny bit over here. That's what our light looks like. This light is very light, but this one's a little bit like blended in, like 50% opacity. So we're gonna make the outline lighter. Okay. Now we're gonna blend in this corner. Make it. Actually, we're done with the outline, so we can use this pencil now. Use this pencil for shading. This, just add like dark at first, and then gradually make it lighter. There, so it should be looking like this. Dark at the bottom, a bit light at the top. Actually, just like, don't make it that dark. Okay. Sorry, hold it the wrong way. There. That's what it's supposed to look like. And there is a little bit like water over here because, you know, our eyes are wet. So we're gonna make this more darker and leave this space as the water. Okay, remember, this is kind of dark, and then gradually shade it down to it being light. Okay, now that's what it's supposed to look like right now. there is some light reflecting, and then there's a lot of shading going over here all the way to there. And that's very natural. So we're gonna start over here. We're gonna ignore this and use our eraser to make some light reflecting. So we're gonna add a slight difference from this shade, and we're gonna just do this. And then make it lighter as you go. Do it again, second layer. Okay, that's how it's supposed to look. And maybe just a little bit of shading over here with going this motion. Okay. Okay, that's great. By the way, our eyes, they do have some wrinkles, very tiny wrinkles on the bottom. So, well, specifically this eye has like wrinkles. If you don't have wrinkles on the bottom, then you're just like not old enough for it. And when you add wrinkles, don't forget that when you add a line, you shade it like this, dark to light, dark to light, and then leave this just the regular color. Okay, that's how it's supposed to look like, and that's what I'm doing right now over here. Dark to light, don't forget. Okay, now we're gonna focus on this, our iris. There is like a dark outline. It's a lot more darker than the original color of the eye. So we're gonna just make our eyes brown. So we're gonna make it pretty dark. Not too dark, but it is pretty dark. And then the outside is a bit more darker. Because if you look at the photo again, that's how it looks like. Great. And this is the darkest part of our eye. This is so outline it dark, very dark. And there is actually some light reflecting, so just make a little shape. And we're gonna color this really dark and then just a slightly darker shade. Very slight. That's how our eye is supposed to look like. So now we completed the inside, and we're gonna edit our highlight a little bit. Wait, we're gonna focus on this part. So we're gonna make it a bit darker. Because again, look at the photo, using the reference, it's a bit more darker. So about this dark. That's great. And if you want, just leave this pretty dark, and this part is way more lighter. Okay. Also, we have this little design in our eye that goes like sun rays. It goes top, loop, top, loop, top, loop, and then just repeat it throughout the eye in the circle. And this, you just shade it. You shade the loop. Shade, 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 shade. Shade it, shade it. So it blends in with the original color. Just keep doing that around. And there's a little bit more on the inside. Wait. Yep. Just like that. And also, there is a lot of shading happening on the top. So just make it pretty dark and shade down, shade, 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 shade down. There. Okay, now let's focus on our highlight. There is a tiny bit of shading happening. A very tiny bit. But if you want, erase your outline to make it more natural. And it actually will look way more natural if you just make it a bit more darker around the light. Yes, make the inside a bit more darker than the light. Also, remember when I told you this is 50% opacity? So we're gonna make it as dark as this, but a little bit lighter. So, like this. That's great. And this is supposed to be like the same shade as this, but a little bit lighter. Okay. Finish this part. We will be focusing on this part. We'll be shading it with this pencil. And also remember, if you need to use a pencil sharpener to sharpen it like back to a big, nice point, then just do that. Okay, continuing. We are gonna add a little highlight over here because that's where the light is reflecting. Now let's shade this part. We're gonna add a bit of darkness over here, going like this much, and then a bit lighter over here on top. And also there are some folds over here and over there. Looks like this. There is a lot of shading, a lot of shadows happening over here. So if you need to make your folds a little bit more outstanding, then do that. There is some shading going on right over here. So dark, light, so it looks natural. So that fold is actually standing out. And right over here, it's gonna make a little curve, and it's gonna be like a teardrop right there, like a very tiny one. Okay, now we shade it. Shade, 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 shade. There's a little bit of shading going on the outside. this part is actually a bit more lighter, but it is still a lot more lighter than this part. So we're gonna still shade this part. Oh, don't mind the erasing marks. Just a bit more shading. Alright. Looks great. Now we're gonna have to use our eraser again, and actually I'm gonna get a sharper eraser because one kind of okay. We're gonna get an eraser, and we will make a light line over here. That's where our eyelash will be. Okay, now it looks like this. This is the base half of our eyelashes. Okay. 1 second, I'm just shading. And a bit more wrinkles. Okay. We're gonna use light strokes. So first, like this, just one over there. And don't forget that there is eyelash reflection. So just add a bit of shading. Okay, one over here, and one right there, and one right there, one right here, here, and then that's gonna be like that. We're gonna do the bottom lashes for last. So don't forget that there are some eyelashes that connect together. For example, let me show you on not this eye, but just on a different piece of paper. For example, you have an eyelash and another one that are connecting. And you add more and more and more until they look kind of like this. But also don't forget that when you draw eyelashes, they go in different ways. Not just, like that, but they go like this and that and this. It's eyelashes. Okay, now this little one over there and tiny bit. Actually, I'm gonna sharpen my pencil. Okay. Like this. Darken your eyelashes. Don't be afraid. And this one is also connecting, so add your eyelashes. Then there are some eyelashes that are going at the bottom. So just add some strokes right there. Again, do not be afraid. It actually helps you out. Don't be afraid. And then make some clusters. Right, that's the word I was looking for. Clusters. And eyelash. And right now your eye's supposed to look like this. And then there's a tiny cluster happening right there. And then one, this, very natural. Alright, little section right here. And they're going like this. By the way, if you need to slow this part down, then do that, you know. Slow it down. It'll help you out if you understand. And stroke, 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 stroke. And there are some more clusters happening. By the way, your eyelashes, they don't, when you have the base, they don't just go like that. They curve under. They curve under your eye. And then add some eyelashes under your cluster. This, here, some right there. Some are actually under too. Make it a little bit longer because in the photo she is wearing mascara. She is. Okay. And then add a little bit in the corner because there's just like little ones growing in the corner. And also, if you want, make those eyelashes darker. Okay, now the top is done. Actually, I don't like so let me just fix that. And like this. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna go on to the bottom lashes. The bottom lashes are way more shorter than the top ones. Do not forget that. Okay, just one right there. This is gonna be a tiny cluster. And one right here. One right there. And then it actually gets so tiny like this tiny at the end. Slow this down. Slow this video down if you need to. Alright, I'm gonna just not talk on this part because I'm gonna actually roll. Don't forget to look at a shade over here. Done.